Alright, so I want to do a video on waiting. There are three things that I'm waiting for right now. Cigarettes, coffee, and sex. All of them desires. Um, so I've been writing it out, and I know there's a point where I am blocking myself from seeing something. So if you have any perspective on this, please share. So, with cigarettes, I wasn't quitting. I kept on falling and falling, and the last time I fell, I bought a carton. Well, the carton that I got is 8 packs of 25. So, I noticed that I was smoking too much. So I started to limit myself to what I was smoking when I first started within the first pack, which is 2 hours a cigarette. I decided to follow a process of adding an hour to each pack. And so I am waiting now for that next cigarette. I am trying to find things to do within that time that keeps me busy. Now, yeah, I'm giving myself up within the moment so that I can have one of those desires within the future. Like, I'm trying to keep myself busy, I'm trying to keep myself occupied each 6 hours until I have my next cigarette. It usually doesn't happen until I'm about an hour and a half or an hour away from, or 2 hours away from having or allowing myself to have a cigarette. Now, the starting point was to create self-will and to create a process where I'm not up and down, because I mean, I would decide to quit, and then I would smoke. I would decide to quit, and then I would smoke. So this is something that's a bit, I guess, easier. So, like, I know there's a self-diss on this point of not allowing myself to express myself within the moment and trying to keep myself busy until I can have that next cigarette and waiting for that next cigarette. And I'm not seeing something. I know it's there. It's the point of waiting. It's the point of not expressing myself in the moment. And I'm just not allowing myself to see around it. Because I still want to stick to this process. Because if I allow myself to have a cigarette whenever I want it, I mean, I'll go back to smoking every hour. I don't want that. So I wait. But that's just it, is that I'm waiting. I'm not stopping myself to having a cigarette every 6 hours right now. I'm waiting for a cigarette every 6 hours. There's a point of time that I'm gonna have to face. Anyways, I want to continue on the waiting. So, I accept and allow myself to have sex, but right now I'm not accepting and allowing myself to masturbate. It's been probably like 3 or 4 months since I've ejaculated. Now, again, I'm waiting. for sex, to allow myself to ejaculate. I'm not allowing myself to masturbate. And it's like the same point, that I'm limiting myself to one thing, even though the result is the same thing. It is establishing self-will though, because I mean there are cravings of having cigarettes, and there are points where I'm horny. And yeah, I just say no, I can wait. So I'm projecting myself into that one point where I allow myself to have a cigarette or I have sex. Again, it's something that I'm not saying, it's not something that I'm allowing myself to share. So your perspectives will help. And coffee. So I noticed that I was only drinking coffee. Like I had tea sitting around. I enjoy tea, but I was sticking to coffee. I wasn't, and the starting point is not letting that tea go to waste or using up all that tea, because I had quite a bit of tea and I was just accumulating it. So I decided to not buy coffee for the house again until I drank all the tea. Because if I were here and I wanted something to drink, I would choose like water or coffee. I would never choose tea. Right. So I don't know if this is a point of like reprogramming myself to be patient. You know, the starting points were out of establishing self-will, just not participating in masturbation, and to not waste. But there's still a point there where the point of waiting is still there. It's like, it's not self-expression. So that's the point that I'll work on, is expressing myself in each moment, not projecting myself into that next time where next time, yeah, the next time where I allow myself to indulge. That's what it is. I'm waiting for the next time that I indulge. Okay.